Payday 2 is not the first game of a hate genre, but probably still the most famous one. I've been playing this game almost since the release day in 2013, with a few huge breaks, but still for 8 years now. This game had its upsides and downs, and still does, but it has a special place in my heart. In its current state, Payday is not in a good shape. For a couple of reasons, mostly financial ones. In this video I would like to make a short history summary about the game, its developers, how did they manage to avoid total bankruptcy, possible third game, and of course I will talk about its current state. Also I will try to answer the questions, does it still fun to play, and if there any reason for you to buy all these countless DLCs. Who haven't played it, Payday is a co-op-oriented first-person shooter, which means you and 3 other players will fight against bots and will try to achieve your mission objectives. Premise is very similar to Left 4 Dead concept, but with a unique feature. We have a progression system throughout loot that we could steal during missions. With money you could buy more weapons and upgrades, and with experience you could select your skills. More goods stolen, more experience. Simple as that. This progression system is what holds the game to this very day. The first Payday came out in 2011. It was a financial success. In the following year, they've sold over 700,000 copies of their game. It was a matter of time when the sequel would come out. Payday 2 was released on August 13th of 2013. The main point of the sequel is more and better. It easily became one of the most popular FPS game back at the time. Why, would you ask? What session multiplayer shooters did we have in 2013? Basically, there were only Battlefield 4 and Arma 3, but they both have different, more realistic serious communities, so Payday eventually has found its players. But even more than that, our game acquired a few nice DLCs that were keeping interest to the game. And Battlefield, well, I personally think that Battlefield 3 is still the best in the series, and 4th game is not that good, and it's quickly lost its popularity. Let's say Payday was released at the right place and at the right time. But here we've got the problem. From 2014 till 2017, Starbreeze, the company that owns Overkill, developers of Payday, thought that they were doing fine. They've acquired a nice bag of cash, so they've decided to buy a few studios here and there, and even announced that they will develop their own virtual reality headset. What a time to be alive. And who would have thought that this is gonna be a bad idea? Of course, they've just wasted their resources that led to a few unfortunate events. They've sold a few studios, cancelled Walking Dead ports, lost their rights to a few series such as System Shock, and even fired quarter of their staff. By the end of 2018, they found themselves in a tight spot. Walking Dead didn't sell that well, bankruptcy was on their backs. Luckily, in Sweden, where Starbreeze is located, they could give you a chance and some time to take measures and fix things. Thus, they've been granted a period of reconstruction before they would become a complete bankrupt. At some point, they've released an edition that is now called Legacy and promised to stop making endless DLCs or give them for free for players that bought it. Yeah, that didn't work out. It was a difficult year, but in December of 2019, Starbreeze came out with a plan how they could earn money. How do you think did they accomplish this? Of course, more low-end DLCs for Payday. They focused only on this game and started to develop a content and new ways to get players. For example, they've made a text adventure that in the end would give you a free DLC. On the paper, Payday is growing and in a good shape. By the end of the previous year, Starbreeze paid almost all of its debts and now got a 50 million euro investment for Payday 3 development. Also, they've got new CEO, Tobias Jogren, I hope I've pronounced it right, that feels rather optimistic, and I quote, "That has worked really well for us. Before coronavirus really hit, we were already seeing a great uptake in player numbers for Payday 2, and it's been really encouraging to see the game performing better than in many years. Over the last year we've done numbers that rivaled the first couple of years of the game, which is fantastic. And the numbers are kinda confirms his statement. Starbreeze released its financial results for the first quarter of 2021, and it showed that their losses had shrunk to over 500,000, the lowest amount of debt in many years. For comparison, in 2020 they had almost $1 million losses. As we could see, they are moving in the right direction. On the paper, they are growing and paying off their debts, but only on the paper. That's all with the history. Now let's talk about the game itself and how we would play it in 2021. Firstly, I would like to mention that Payday is heavily inspired by the heist films such as Heat, Point Break, The Town, and many others. I've rewatched those amazing films after I played Payday for some time, and then I've started to notice that in the game we have a lot of references, missions, masks, etc. It's nice to see such appreciation for the classics. In fact, Payday itself at least tried to be a heist film. They've made like a few episodes of a Payday series, and this material were used in game trailers and the game itself as the background clips. But even as a separate product, it's not that bad. Not the best series I've seen, but not that bad either. Let's say developer wasted time to create unique universe with its story and characters. In game we have missions that have its storyline, which all of this is very cool in my opinion. As I've said before, the premise of the game is pretty simple. Select a mission, choose your weapons, and off you go, haster. Missions could be completed either stealth or loud, or both. I personally don't like stealth missions because, you know, there are a lot of missions to choose from. More simpler ones like transport hastes, where you should break the doors and clean up deposit boxes. Or you could try to rob a bank. Mostly they are not that interesting. Just complete task A to open the door B. But they have some certain atmosphere and feels organic. From time to time, the game tests your greediness. You could just complete your main objective and finish the mission, or you always could go for more loot. The longer it takes, the more cops will spawn. It's always about, should I risk it? To make it more difficult for a player, Payday tries to stretch a mission completion time as long and annoying as possible. Drills that broke every 5 seconds is a famous meme, that not even a joke. Special cops that works similar as the colleagues from Left 4 Dead, etc, etc, etc. The gameplay depends a lot on the player. You could choose how you could play this game. And on the top of that, we have levels with a little generation. Objectives could spawn in random places. So even if you will be replaying the same missions over and over again, they could be played completely different each time. Same good variety we've got with the skills. In earlier days we could use, I don't know, up to 30 builds, but this system was rebuilt, nerfed and changed for a couple of times already, and now in 2021 we've got only a few that could work on higher difficulties. Classical dodge, tanky and technician with turrets probably. When it first came out, almost everyone was running as dodgers, but then Death Sentence came out, nerfs, and now it's not that easy. Let's just say you could experiment a lot up to Mayhem difficulty. It's like classical hard, but on Death Wish and Sentence you could use only a few builds. We've also got a Profession, an additional perk deck to choose from. Mostly it helps you to regenerate your health and armor, but still it's a nice addition. And even that not the coolest part. Number of weapons in Payday are just satisfying at very least. Gunplay and reload animations are one of the best in FPS genre. Just hear me out. In Insurgency video I've said that animations there are amazing, and it's true, but let's split them into a few types. In Call of Duty, reloads are military realistic type. Your character takes a magazine from his chest, hiding unspent ammo back in a pocket, and this is cool, but firstly, these types of reloads got me bored really fast. They all feel exactly the same. In Insurgency we have semi-realistic because game is both casual and realistic, and Payday is completely casual. So Call of Duty has the best realistic animations, Insurgency has the best from the both worlds and the unique feature of a quick reload, and Payday has the best casual animations. Weapon interactions in Payday is something special. I could watch it for hours, and the best part is that the most of the animations are unique. We have certain amount of copy-paste like in pistol segment, but still it feels amazingly great. Weapons variety is also amazing. Assault rifles, machine guns, shotguns, pistols, grenade launchers. We have a lot of special weapons such as bows and crossbows, akimbo weapons. It could take a lot of time to just list all possible guns. Trust me, you will find the gun that you will like. But the problem is that to unlock them you of course should buy DLCs, at least the old ones. If you won't, you will be rather limited in your variety. Same with the weapon mods. To get options you should buy additional content. but we have the same moment as with the skills. On the higher difficulties you could use only a few guns if you want to be effective. In addition, they've reworked infamy system. What is this? Once you've reached the maximum level in game, you could reset your experience and get the new infamy level. For this you could acquire new masks and in earlier days a few skills bonuses. Before rework we had 25 infamy levels, but now they've made it more like a season pass from Fortnite or Apex Legends. It's a cool endgame feature to keep players entertained, and I find this new system both good and not that much. Now you could play even more with some feeling of a progress. On the other hand, you should reset your experience time and time again, which is a bit tiresome. Payday wouldn't be a thing if it had no customization. If we would talk about the weapons, they have skins. They could be either simply cosmetic or could have its own mods that could change gun performance dramatically. Before the rework we had loot boxes. After mission you could have get one and roll the skin drop completely for free. Thanks God there was no microtransactions. Now they changed it to direct skin drops. You could farm them pretty easy, but to get at least one skin for every weapon in the game could take a lot of time. Besides weapons, we have masks, gloves and armor. You could unlock them with infamy progression, find them or simply buy as DLC. Also you could unlock a few with achievements. Talking of which, in earlier days they were like just in any other game, just an addition, but now you should complete them to get a few nice weapon mods and masks. Also, I personally have a very specific problem. You see, I got Russians in matchmaking all the time. If I got a person that speaks English, it's just a blessing, and you could imagine how it feels to play with them. You will get cheaters in your team a lot. This is the problem from the release day. It's playable but still not that fun. It's better to play with your friends. That's why I like Insurgency and Deep Rock matchmaking. There I could choose the region which I want to play in. A few words about new missions and DLCs. Well, I don't like them that much. They've made a new storyline, but honestly, it's just the same assets mixed on new levels. For the price more than the base game, you will get a few masks, outfits and gloves, not even a single gun. To get them, you should own another DLCs. And if we will talk about the new guns, well, the models are new but the animations just the same ones. I just couldn't recommend you to buy any of those new DLCs. To summarize this all, I would say that Payday 2 is still fun. It's not that exciting like a few years ago, but still playable. It is still one of the best cooperative shooters, and at least you could shoot here and not be encamped all the time like in Call of Duty. It is the game that you will install, play for 2 weeks and delete, then come back in a few months. Repeat. That's it. Now I would like to talk a bit about the other aspects of the game, such as graphics and sound. Then I will make my prediction about the third Payday game. Visuals weren't good back in 2013, so you could imagine how does games holds up today. Textures are simple. Levels on the outside are empty. Visual effects are bland. Don't expect any good lighting either, but we have good interior, a lot of objects inside of banks, shops, this kind of stuff. Sometimes it feels like a simple copy-paste, but it's fine. We have a really interesting character design. We have both unique ones from Payday universe or from collaboration like John Wick and Scarface. For example, my favorite character is Joy. It's the latest one, she was released in 2018. Another pleasant moment about the visuals is the interface. It is really simple, useful, and the best part of it that your teammates, objectives, items will always be highlighted. You will be never lost in this game. Basically, that's all about the visuals. Mediocre graphics with a cool atmosphere. We've come here for the gameplay anyways. Sound design is at the better spot. It's really unique. We have screams, drills, stunt effect. Developer really tried hard to make this game sound properly good. Although sometimes gunshots sounds unrealistic, a bit synthetic even, but it couldn't ruin the whole picture. What's really got me is the voice acting. Characters sounded amazing. Their lines legit left a mark in my memory. If something really creates atmosphere here, it's the voice acting.
Okay, Captain wants us to record this, so first set up the camera. Go ahead and burn it. I know it's sad.
Final cherry on the top is the music. I've already shown you the meme, but I would like to mention it once more. Mr. Simon Wickland is a composer of another level. He is the reason why players play Haste loud. I couldn't call local soundtrack the best I've ever heard, because I've never listened it out of game context, like for example Max Payne 3 Ost or Hotline Miami tracks that were on repeat in my phone for years, but still, Payday's soundtracks are amazing. That's all about Payday 2. As you could see, game has a few problems, but most of players on Steam rated it as good. It's not perfect, but unique concepts make this game really fun, even 8 years after release. What do I think about the next game in this series? Well, I'm pretty skeptical about any new games for two reasons. First one, companies learned that they could release early access product as a complete game, aka Cyberpunk, Returnal and many others before that. It's easier and more profitable. The second reason is that COVID really messed up gaming industry in terms of development. To make a good and a polished game, teams should communicate, and that was pretty problematic during pandemic. As a result, I think Payday 3 will be, at the very best, a pretty mediocre product. In addition, they have financial problems, so I'm almost 100% sure they will add microtransactions and will continue to develop endless DLCs. In Payday 2 we at least have skins for free, so enjoy it while you can. This is my prediction. I might be wrong. I hope that I would be wrong, but it seems that this series is not going to be better anytime soon.